And I would be very concerned. It's one of the trunk lines going to the sewage treatment plant. I'd be concerned about basements and the impact from any. Again, you need to trust your engineer and carefully review that. The other issue is that I, on behalf of my clients, we just request full disclosure on all the elements, minerals, and ores that are going to be used by this company, P Ridge and mine. And we studied all the documents, and we see a whole host of other elements, minerals, and it just begs the question. I think there's been an excellent presentation on iron ore, but I'm very bothered by, everything else. It's sort of like byproducts. Exactly what are the byproducts? In order to do a comprehensive job, follow your duties and responsibilities as city council, you need to ask for an enumeration and accounting of all the iron ore, other minerals, rare elements. To say it's just other things, that's too wide. I think there's one item that's been addressed that's been lead. We appreciate that. But there's a big gap between talking about admitting there's lead and iron ore. I think there's been a very comprehensive discussion on iron ore. My concern is what else? And you need to demand full disclosure of this project. There's been, it's tough getting information on it. It seems delayed. And this is a question the council must demand before taking action. The slurry line issue is one of my big concerns. It's one of my big concerns because Alvarisi is not handling it, number one. Number two, I've seen water quality reports from P Ridge, which I will submit to the record, and it concerns me after reading those water quality reports. You have to remember, when you bring that much water from a different watershed, it changes the hydraulics, the flow of everything in the area where it's discharged. I mean, it's something that didn't used to be there. And when you bring it to the site, it has an impact. I urge you, like the previous speakers, to slow down. I don't understand what the big rush is. I watched this happen a year ago, and there was such a rush. You need to take time and get the facts. I beg you on behalf of my clients to get answers to these questions. Take the time, study it. Trust your city engineer. He will tell you the truth. He is professionally responsible, and if he answers all the questions and says everything's okay, I'm telling you, rely on that. If you don't hear a response from him, and when he talks about some narrow little issue, beware. Thank you very much.
Kathy Kerr.
Wanted just to mention one more thing. If you do 1 minute, Mayor.
You have the floor.
On these large drawings here, this is Platinum Creek, and you're all familiar with the railroad. This picture is in the area that is right about, it's located just across the railroad track, right about this area. This is where the major facilities are located. This is where this large ditch was excavated. One of my concerns, and this should be your concern, City Council, and it wasn't really fully disclosed, this solar cool area, and I'll just say it's really bad, okay? I mean, we won't get into the details. What my main concern was after reviewing the demolition permit is that they really didn't address the utilities and grouting. And when this ditch was excavated, I don't know when it was, but it exposed 4 pipes that, by putting a signal on it, went across the railroad tracks. And my concern is that, and they were not grouted. These pipes were not properly grouted. And the concern is that the solar cool effluent will leach, go through the pipes. Sometimes it's not just the pipes, it's the limestone bedding, the bedding and backfill. It's not, even sometimes when you grout the pipe, it's the bedding and backfill that being transferred. So, I mean, this is another issue. This area, it needs to be fully investigated. You see down here how it's falling. The observations, and I have, again, a whole disc of pictures. It's nothing but solid fire brick, solid cullet. You know that the ash, you get ash from coal plants and slag from iron ore, and some iron plants. And what you get from the glass process, you get a lot of extra fire brick that are constantly replaced, and you also get the glass cullet as a waste. This whole area here, the river used to go in this area, and what they did, according to retirees, they buried things in this area. And again, I just heard this from retirees at PPG explaining the process. It reduced the velocity of the Mississippi, and hydraulically, when you reduce the velocity, you get more silt to settle. And what occurred is over time, you got more silt, and they filled it up, and this was kind of a waste pit. The city now owns, I was aware of their original dump, their cullet landfill, and they actually own this area, which is also another dump. And again, we didn't, at least I couldn't see anywhere where the city fully had knowledge of this at the early stages. But I've been a professional engineer, licensed in 1975, and there's many infrastructure issues that I've been through. And you just need to take your time and trust your city engineer to address all these issues. If he doesn't do so, it raises a red flag. Thank you very much.
Kathy Kerr.
My concern has been addressed. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Kathleen Lynn Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. It's actually Kathleen Logan Smith.
I apologize.
Correct. Trying to keep the record straight. I'm Kathleen Logan Smith. I'm the Executive Director with the Missouri Coalition for the Environment. And I faxed the statement, but I brought hard copies in case they're not part of the record. So I'd like to share these with I may. It's your attorney. Is my statement part of the record, the one I sent it today?
I don't recall your letter, but welcome.
On behalf of the Missouri Coalition for the Environment, I urge you to learn more before you approve a conditional use permit that allows some deviation from your zoning ordinances. The project proposed for the former PPG site is a complex system of unproven and untested technologies. To some degree, this makes Crystal City a testing ground. And, you know, from what we've heard from Bob, if all the things that Bob says are true, there's no reason to be opposed to this project. But there's also no evidence